I'm going to start off with the boring traditional understanding of the modality. I'm going to start off with the boring traditional NLP understanding of the modality of the kinesthetic. And then I'm going to go into the phone train definition and how I use the kinesthetic, because the kinesthetic is my favorite modality. Just like all parents have favorite children, so don't let them fool you. This is my favorite modality, the kinesthetic. So in traditional NLP, the kinesthetic is anything related to our sense of touch, our internal feeling states, and the submodalities associated with that are things like texture, anything related to how something feels. Temperature is a great one. I know when I jump in a cold shower every day, my internal states, my feeling states shift as well as the feeling on my skin. So those are all associated with the kinesthetic. The intensity of something, if you have a sharp feeling or a dull feeling, those are all associated with submodalities of the kinesthetic. And remember, there's a sheet attached that's gonna have all of the potential submodalities associated with that kinesthetic. Now, kinesthetic people, maybe people that are better at things like dancing and martial arts, they learn by doing things. They get that feeling in their body, that sense of flow that comes from that internal feeling state. They may use words like, I have a good grasp on that. I feel like doing this. Those are all signs that the person you're dealing with may be more geared towards the kinesthetic. Now, let's get into the Spohn-trained definition of the kinesthetic and how I use it. Now, the kinesthetic for me, if we remember the antenna theory, the kinesthetic is a sign of what you are attracting into your life. So remember, anytime you have emotions within you, that drops hormones and energy. Those emotions are just energy, drops those into different parts of your body, and they give you feelings. For example, if somebody texted you and said, we need to talk, that sends a signal to your nervous system, which sends a signal to your endocrine system, which drops stress hormones into your stomach. And you'll have that system which send a signal to your endocrine of anxiety. Now, a lot of us can get rid of that really quickly. We may go in and out of it. Some of us stay in that anxious state for a long time because we don't understand how to shift the internal feeling states, that kinesthetic of anxiety. Remember, all emotions are just kinesthetic feelings within us. You can't be anxious without that internal kinesthetic of anxiety. And you can't be confident without that internal feeling, that internal vibration of confidence. And both of those are just states. And remember, your state affects your capabilities. So your internal emotional kinesthetic state affects your capabilities in life. It affects the thoughts and emotions you attract, which is going to change your course of actions, which is going to change what you attract into your life. If you have uneasy feelings or dis-ease in your body, remember, dis-ease is just piled up negative emotions that are stored in your body. If you're running the same emotional pattern over and over, that's going to store inside of you as discomfort in a kinesthetic. Now, for a while, that may just seem like, let's say anxiety, for example, it may seem like just a feeling of anxiety, but that's going to develop into all kinds of digestive issues because you didn't understand how to shift out of that into all kinds of digestive. Pretty interesting, right? So our kinesthetic, your feelings are a sign of what you are attracting into your life. And I use the visual and the auditory to shift the internal kinesthetic states. So if you hear something or you see something or your mind makes pictures or creates sounds, maybe your self-talk is sending a signal to your endocrine system, which is creating those internal feeling states. So my work as a coach, as a hypnotist, is to go in, shift the modalities and the submodalities of the visual and the auditory, and then I shift the kinesthetic. I take someone and I move them into a whole different vibration and a whole other point of attraction. For example, one of my friends is a hedge fund manager, and early last year he was going through a difficult time. That's part of the business. And it was eating him up like it never had before, and he had this tightness in his stomach, and he couldn't sleep, and he was worried all the time. And so I did a session with him, and my whole goal was to shift him out of that kinesthetic, because I knew from that state he couldn't trade successfully. He couldn't get back to where he needed to be with that kinesthetic feeling of anxiety and worry. So I shifted him out of that. I did a little 30-minute hypnosis meditation session. I brought him out. Afterwards, he said, "It's gone. I don't have that feeling anymore." And just like that, I shifted him to a different kinesthetic. His trades, the way he saw his trades changed, and that was his low point. From that day on, he improved and got back into at least a little bit of a flow, making some money again. He wasn't as worried. He shifted his kinesthetic and it changed all his actions. From a scarcity mindset, you feel that in your body as a kinesthetic, he could not have traded. His capabilities, his state would not have let him successfully trade. I had to shift him out of that in order for him to successfully get back to doing what he was best at. Think about it. So another example of this is I was at an event where a well-known energy healer took the stage, and I'd never seen him before. Actually, he was kind of the inspiration for what got me into pranic healing, Reiki, and his name was Master Ko. I got the chance to interview him for my mastermind group a while ago, and he had everybody, sit down, put their palms up, and he rubbed his hands together, pressed his thumbs on his palm, and he went like this. And everybody in the room felt the energy shifting in their hands from him being on stage. That's a kinesthetic feeling. They felt this warm energy shifting in their palms. Where focus goes, energy flows. By shifting your focus, you can shift those kinesthetic states. So people who are anxious, depressed, those are just kinesthetic feelings in the body. By shifting their focus, they can shift out of those states. So let's do a little exercise here. So rub your palms together. Actually do this. Rub your palms together. Take your thumbs and place it in each palm. And close your eyes. Rub your hands together again. And you can look at me for just a moment. And I want you to place your hands about this far apart. Close your eyes. And now imagine that you're playing with like a ball of energy, like a little energetic cloud. And move your hands back and forth just so you can feel the edges of that cloud. And notice that you may feel this like tingling feeling in your palms or in your fingertips. And as you move your hands closer, you're gonna feel that feeling get more dense. And as you expand, you'll feel it lighten up, dense and light, just like a ball of energy. Okay, you can open your eyes. Just by shifting your focus, you are able to shift your energy. And this is the principle behind pranic healing, behind Reiki, behind a lot of these healing arts, is that when we can shift our energy, we can use our energy to shift someone else's, we can heal them. Now, in NLP and hypnosis, generally, we just go through their own brain. So they may have something that's feeling uncomfortable within them. We're gonna lock their brain onto it. We're gonna change the visual of it. We may change the auditory sensation of it. And then we tell them in a moment, we're gonna future pace. When I snap my fingers, that's gonna shift. We shift it, that kinesthetic feeling changes. Just like that, they're gonna be a whole new person. They're gonna be attracting different things into their life. Now, I'm gonna go on about this because this is such an important principle. Again, this may be the most important video in the entire course. It's probably like the 5th time I've said that. So the last few days I've kind of been in this like stress and worry and trying to find my way forward. There's so many things stacked up in my mind. And I thought, I'm not gonna be able to think my way through this. So I went and I've just kind of reinvested in my meditation practice, and I've just sat and I let all of that energy flow out. All of those thoughts, emotions, I watch them, I let them flow out. And I noticed as I sit in meditation, about 10 minutes in, the kinesthetic feeling in my body shifts. And it becomes light. And even as I'm talking about this, I can feel it. The energy flows through me, my whole body feels a little tingly, and it feels better, right? Because with the antenna theory, every time you think a thought, it drops an emotion and a hormone into your body, which affects the thought patterns you attract. Meditation is just clearing that chemistry, clearing that antenna to make way for new thoughts and emotions, to make way for a clear mind and communication with your higher self or your soul or whatever that might be for you. So as you sit and meditate, imagine like all the chemistry of those emotions just draining out of you. And from that place, you can see the way forward so much better. So as I've done that, the last few days, I've really just come back into like a clear mind, a clear way forward. I know exactly what to do because I cleared all the noise out of my kinesthetic system. Now, funny enough, the last 2 mornings as I was meditating, I had calls for pretty big financial changes in my life, like literally in the middle of meditation. So what you can attract when you clear that negative energy and emotion out of your system is gonna blow your minds. And most people never take a chance to do that. This is why I say change happens fast. Once you understand these principles, you can change the kinesthetic within you, you can be more confident, you can live in an empowered state. So I hope I've convinced you of the power of being able to shift those internal feeling states. And our next video, you're gonna get a perfect demonstration of this and hopefully get a better idea of how to use this with yourself, with your clients, and in your everyday life.